empowered to do it. So whether they choose to do it or not, I don't mean doesn't matter, but sort of doesn't matter in that sense.
Well, it's not about imposing, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So I asked you about that because obviously what I hope to do is not just write some massive big, dissertation, but then be able to say, look, if you're a health service or other large institution that wants to get to the hardly reached people in the community, there are natural community connectors / activists. This is what they do. Here's if you find them, you can work in these ways, you can have these potential impacts, measure them in these ways. And I think that a course like this could be a useful component of that. But you can't just go on, everything has to be contextualised and adapted.
Yeah.
I understand that. But I guess I just want to get a sense of people's response to this one that's only just finished about its potential development, adaptation.
I mean, just a wee thing to add to that is about how in delivering, for example, a course like that, but in the structure that you're saying, if you can get community leaders on board with something, then they will sell it to their community.
Yes.
And we all, in general, as humans, as social humans, we will hear it better from our own. Which is also, it's much more often said about professionals. Like a professional will hear another professional more than they'll hear a grassroots activist. And that is a particular strategy of sending information through an allied personality within a health service or whatever. But the same is true the other way. But I think it is done in kind of community development settings, but I think often people don't think of that. Like professionals don't think of that. And that's because their head is in the professional space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not something that is highly recommended or kind of made much of, but which is about engaging with the community connectors or the activists in order to promote the service.
Yeah. And that's really what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
The whole thing, you're a health service, you want to, you're alarmed about, or you're aware of particular health conditions. You just running a course on weight loss is not going to get to people, or you just running something on nutrition for little kids. They're not going to walk in the door.
Yeah.
You've got to have that connector, that person, the go-between, the intermediary. Yeah.
And I think, a very useful tool one of the very useful tools for getting community connectors is the notion of outreach work, let's sort of just define that down as being someone that goes into the place, goes into the community with whatever purpose. It may be going in to distribute flyers, it may be going in to do rapid testing, it might be, but in that engagement is the opportunity to talk about the nutrition course and it is also an acknowledgement of people's place and social status.
Yeah. So other people have phrased that as you need a health service connected to connect to the connectors kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you've got formal institutions, you've got social groups and organisations, and you could class. Comunidina perhaps sits on the border here. I'm not sure, or maybe in here. Something like CCAD's definitely up here. County Council's definitely here. The hospital is definitely here. And there's people who in their everyday life, know how to find this stuff, but I'm interested in these folks here and how do you cross these boundaries or borders or whatever.
Yeah.
So just one practical thing. At the AGM I met Mary Daly White, who gave me her phone number.
Yeah.
I don't think she wrote. I can't read her writing, or it's.
So could I just?
I'll show you what she gave me because it's just not working. And I just feel because she expected me to call, and I don't want her to feel like.
And she'd be very interested. She was one of the founding members of the network. Been involved with Comunidina for a long time and stuff. So I think she would be very useful to talk to. Hang on, let's see what I've got.
I've got a problem with the 9s and the 7s.
Yeah, it's a 7, and it pure looks like a 9. So it's 087 775. I'm just going over it in black ink, if that's all right.
Thank you. Yep. I just thought I better get that fixed.
029, and that's a 3, which I wouldn't necessarily have known. There we go.
I'm just going to write it and read it back to you. So it's 087 7750 293.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think she will be good to talk to.
Yeah. And just the other one, I haven't talked to anyone. There is a hospital in Youghal, but I haven't gone.
Community hospital.
Yeah, I haven't knocked on the door just to see, because it's just interesting. You've talked about community development, community engagement, because that's your bread and butter, and all of that should translate into a health setting, but it actually doesn't necessarily, because health people don't, unfortunately, always use that language. Even though health promotion, the language of good health promotion is community engagement, but that's where you've got social model and medical models. Not necessarily gelling or meshing all the time.
I mean, the community hospital, like a number of services are run out of there. I have not found the hospital particularly responsive. And that's more as a service user than as a worker, let's say.
Like if I went in there and knocked on the door, who would I even want to talk to?
What is up there, and quite possibly is the community mental health team. Now they would have a lot of interaction with people. There are very limited mental health services in East Cork, but certainly in Middleton. So the community mental health team use a fairly long-winded and laborious method. Don't repeat that. That's just me saying that. To address people's needs.
But that's people with chronic ongoing mental health issues.
Not necessarily chronic. That's people looking for, referral to counsellor
or
something.
That, okay.
But it's really, really slow.
Yeah.
And there is no. I mean, there are counsellors who work out of Youghal, but there's no. Like the community mental health cannot refer you to a counsellor.
Right.
They can refer you to groups or whatever, but they can't refer you to a counsellor. So, I think people who are accessing that, predominantly they're people who are, they're going through their GP, so there would probably be a high percentage of people on medical cards.
Yeah.
As to who to talk to.
Yeah.
There's other stuff, like there's a dentist up there, and there's this, that and the other.
So would anyone be sitting up there going, how do we get to the hard to reach people in our community?
I don't know that they are trying to reach out. I think they're just sitting there waiting for referrals to come in, really. Now, I mean,
That's the impression I've got.
And there are workers within that who are, I'm not saying people aren't good at what they do.
No.
And who are, strongly supportive of certain, like referring to groups like GROW and, the kind of broader ones. But I don't think, it's due to pressure of work as well, to caseload.
Sure.
But I don't think there is any reaching out.
Yeah.
I think I don't mean grudgingly, but in terms of the caseload, grudgingly accepting on rather than reaching out.
Yeah.
But firstly, I could just be wrong, and secondly, that doesn't mean that there isn't a wish to do that there.
Of course.
Do you know?
Yep.
As to who you would talk to, I don't know a name exactly, but I do know in terms of the buildings. If you go in and you go in through the gates, and there's a first suite. I have to stare into space when I'm picturing.
The
first suite building here, a bit like a gate lodgy type thing.
Yeah.
Ignore that. That's the dentist.
Yeah.
You go, and there's a bigger building here, and if you you park your car in there, and that building there is community mental health services.
Okay.
It's not exactly marked. It's one of those two buildings. It's not terribly clearly marked on the door.
Yeah.
They are not there every day, but I don't know. I think they're there on maybe Tuesday to Thursday or something like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of if you do want to even see, is it warrantable to talk to them? I think the best approach is to go up there rather than try and get through on email or phone or
anything. Because I've hit a lot of brick walls in that regard, so I'm just.
But there's a lot to be said for just turning up on the doorstep, isn't it?
There's a lot more I'd love to ask you, but